Hello everyone, this is Katherine Donovan. Thank you so much for listening and watching for great results. I know I should have saved that line for my Phenomenon Serendipity podcast, but I thought maybe today we're going to do something totally different. Remember in the last video I talked about how next time I should make moments in anime that'll get my heart pumping. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to try and list them because there are just so many I could name out there. I just had to choose so many from my childhood that really got my heart racing and just made me go, with excitement, like, oh my god. And then as I got older, I was like, holy shit, this is so mind-blowing. It'll make anyone go crazy, right? I'm gonna name them all. I don't care. It's gonna start from my past to the present. Okay? But anyway, let's get started. Okay, I would say we'll start off with a top 10 or something, but there's just so many. But I'm gonna do the best I can to list them. I don't know how many I have. I'm just going to come up with some on the brain. So we're going to start from the bottom down of my childhood. That races all the way up. Okay. The first one I'm going to list is, well, let's see. Of course, I used to fear Team Rocket, of course, when I was a kid. But now that's outgrown and I've seen, they're not evil. They're just... They don't make such great villains. They suck at it. But anyway, so it's like no matter what our heroes would do, and yes, I'm talking about Ash Ketchum and the rest, all of a sudden you would see these silhouettes and then my heart is racing and I'm like, oh no, they're here. You know, like in the Poltergeist, the little girl stares at the TV, then she turns around and says, they're here. That's what I was like, but in a panic voice, I'm like, they're here. Team Rocket. I'm like, no, it's Team Rocket. And then they appear and they do that, you know, prepare for trouble, make it double. I was like, holy shit, it really is them. But, you know, hearing that prepare for trouble, make it double is just getting on my nerves. And now to think about that whole line they always say in the show, it's kind of, it would be kind of funny if Ed from Ed and Eddie would say that. I can imagine him saying, prepare for trouble and make it double to protect the world from devastation, to unite our people within our nation. I can imagine that. Oh man, that would be hilarious. But anyway, so yeah, that was my childhood. And now we have a next one. This one, you guys pretty much know this anime. Cards, dueling, monsters. That's right. I'm talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, I can't choose which one of Yu-Gi-Oh! I could choose. So I'm gonna have to name a few, and I'm gonna cut to the chase, okay? So, do you know this episode called Give Up the Ghosts? Where Yugi faces off an imposter of Kaiba, or possibly a ghost? While this is going on, Kaiba sneaks in and hacks into the dueling system of Pegasus' computer, then sees that Yugi is dueling the fake Kaiba. So, Kaiba decides to hack into the system and make the Blue Eyes White Dragon sick. Really, really sick, as he would put it. The computer voices her concerns. However, Kaiba doesn't care, and he doesn't want to wait. So, that's what happened. However, it seemed Pegasus got the upper hand, and then you're like, oh no! Then all of a sudden, Blue Eyes was going to attack, and it would be done for Yugi. All of a sudden, Kaiba clenched his teeth, pounds both fists on the board, and cries out, Yugi! Then Yugi seemingly heard Kaiba's voice. He goes, Kaiba? There was a flash, and yes, the monster was gone. Evaporated. Seeing that part when I was a kid just got my heart racing. Just every time we were just kids, but every time my older brother, Harry, wants to see that, I used to be afraid of it because I'm like, I don't want to see that because it gets my heart racing. But now looking back, I was like, man, that must have been the coolest thing I've ever seen. I couldn't stop. I got so excited. Yeah. And also, we can't forget the rematch between Yugi versus Kaiba. It was during the time when they were reaching towards Pegasus's castle. Yugi saw Kaiba, and Kaiba wanted a rematch, but also he wanted to get Mokuba back. During that time, it seemed that Kaiba was going to win, but Yugi turned the tables, and then Kaiba has a nightmarish vision of Mokuba being absorbed into the melted and flaming dragon during this whole duel. And Kaiba looked like he was going to really, really give up. So he took a step back, and all of a sudden, he looked like he was going to jump if Yugi tries to win. But then, yeah, the whole part of it, just seeing that just made my heart racing. And then Taya just steps in and she's like, don't do it, Yugi, don't do it. And then Yami Yugi was going to, but Yugi was trying to tell him to stop, and Yugi turns back to normal. And Kaiba wins the duel by getting his dragons to attack. And poor Yugi is crying, and then I feel really bad. And then Yugi's friends comforted him, and Taya apologizes for stopping him. And then Kaiba becomes kind of heartless, and then Taya does the most awesome thing by standing up to him. I was like, you go, girl. So that was another part that was really heart-racing. It was amazing, let me tell you. But anyway, moving on, we have Gundam Wing. Alright, I haven't seen this TV show, but there was the movie Endless Waltz, which was the freaking best movie out of all the Gundams. Oh man, it was just incredible. Then it came to where the part where Hero Yui was has his Gundam above the base where the enemy was and where Relina was being kidnapped. So he managed to get the target locked on, and he says, locked on to the target. Then they managed to get a communication from Hero. I was like, wow. Then Hero goes asking the enemy a question, and then the person goes, of course it is. See for yourself how powerless you are. Then Hero goes, roger that. And the enemy girl goes, oh! And when I saw that part, I was like, oh no, he didn't. I was so excited. I was like, ah. It was so grand. It was incredible. Just heart racing, heart pounding, makes me want to go boom, 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 boom. It was so great. And yeah, I'm trying to remember a Sailor Moon part, but I don't know. I think the one from Sailor Moon was actually the one where some boy was being pinned down and someone was trying to kiss him, but then someone held its head, and then the enemy woman just kissed him anyway. That part just made my stomach drop a bit. I was like, whew. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty heart racing and just nervous to watch. It was like, oh my god. So yeah, that was really crazy. Let's see, what about another one? Card Captor. I'm thinking of one from Card Captor. I think there was one episode in particular. I can't even remember which good one that got my heart racing, but I think it might have been the one where Sakura's classmate got mind controlled by one of the cards and tries to attack, and then Sakura tried to save. Man, that was so heart racing, because you think, oh no, the friend is going to kill her. Oh man, this is so nerve wracking. So yeah, that was another one, but yeah. And we also have Outlaw Star. Okay, this was kind of toned down by Toonami back in the day, where there was no blood, no language, no nudity. So they had to cover it up. But I saw the DVD version, and oh man, I forgot how awesome Outlaw Star is. Just the risque, sexy, also violent shots of it. But there was one in particular that really got my heart racing. Remember episode 12 of Outlaw Star? The one where Jean sneaks on to the El Dorado? Even though there were two in the end, spoilers. But he sneaks onto the ship, takes down the guards who are nothing more than wimps, then confronts Harry McDougal. But unknown to Jean, Harry actually hacks into the XGP. And it's like, oh boy. Then something's wrong with Melfina, who's freaking out, and she's saying, stop it! Stay away! And you're like, what's going on? Then you see from Harry's point of view while he's being interrogated by Jean at gunpoint. All of a sudden, Harry is like still trying to lie, but he sees in his mind, in the hacking of what he's doing, he sees this blue like water base, and he's like, so this is the ship's computer. Then he's like, oh, I'm gonna blow up the ship in 1 minute. I go, oh no. Then flashes to his face. He's smirking, but then he realizes something. He's like, what? Then he sees Melfina. You could see her backside. And also you can see her ass. But anyway. Then Harry sees Melfina, and he's like, a woman? Then Melfina notices he's in, and he's like, no, don't! Stay away! Like, I know what you're here for, just stay away. And I'm like, oh my god! How come I don't remember this episode? Then Harry just bursts out laughing, and he's like, I don't believe this. And then Jean's like, huh? What are you doing, you sick bastard? Then Jean finally finds out and shoots the chip off, and the communication is over. Yeah. Then the end part, oh man. That also got my heart racing. The woman. That woman. And then Harry McDougal. What was he? There. I was like, oh man. Another Outlaw Stars when they had to stop the ship from blowing up the whole satellite thing and try to cut the wires without getting killed. And poor Jim is like crying and laughing nervously, like he's so stressed, and he's like, and he's about to cry, and then Melfina takes his hands and says, it'll be okay, I know it will. And Jim just looks at her and says, well, thanks, Mel. I go, oh, but it also just gave my heart a leap, like, wow. Also, fan shipping. Sorry. I know Jim only sees Melfina as a motherly type figure, but still,